half of Cherokee County that's also under severe thunderstorm warning. We're really watching for any type of kinks in the line, a little bit of rotation, but not really seeing it. Just some gusty straight line winds right now that just pushed through Miami, Commerce, headed for Fairland, and are pushing east. So with a Highway 60 corridor, as you head up towards Wyandotte and Seneca, going to be in the path. Also, I-44 between Miami and, let's say, downstream. Those are areas over the next 10 minutes or so that are going to see up to 60, maybe 65 mile per hour wind gusts. A lot of lightning with the storm. Actually, a little bit less than what we were seeing in some previous scans, but this is still some heavy amounts of rain and gusty winds with this line of storms. It's again also impacting Columbus, Baxter, Riverton, and Galena here in just about 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes the farther east you are towards Joplin. So it's just something we're following for you here on the stations as Zimmer Marketing. It's 11:47 in the KZRG 24-hour storm center. Glad to be with you tonight. Hopefully that doesn't get too awfully loud for you. Hopefully it doesn't wake a lot of the kids up, I guess. Of course, you're up and listening for any type of possible tornadic activity. Good news is we're not seeing any right now. So we're just going to keep watching this radar scan by radar scan, and we'll follow it for you here on News Talk KZRG.
Now, Ty, we have been issued a severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that with this severe thunderstorm watch might end early if we get through the severe weather break that's coming through?
Yeah, I think this is it. I think this Boeing segment is the storm. So as soon as you get the brunt of that, severe weather threats are pretty much over for you. Of course, places are closer to Springfield, Mount Vernon. You may not see it until closer to 2, maybe 3 o'clock. Just depends on if this continues to go the speed that it is right now. But once you see the brunt of the storm, so places like Oswego, Chautauqua, west of Miami, areas like Veneta, once you get that storm, yeah, your severe weather threat's over. So you can actually, go to sleep and not have to worry about severe weather tonight. But kind of looking ahead, we've got maybe some better chances of severe weather Saturday and Sunday, maybe even Monday morning. There's a lot of questions about the next systems that are going to roll through, but we do want you to be aware that there are more chances for severe weather over the next few days. So we're kind of just getting started here in the KZRG 24-hour storm center. But of course, we're watching the trends, we're watching the forecasts, we're watching all of the latest high-resolution model guidances that are released hour by hour, and we'll keep you up to date as we progress through the next few days. But of course, right now, watching these severe thunderstorm warnings push through the eastern half of Ottawa County and going to push to the eastern half of Cherokee County shortly. So we'll wait and see how the storm evolves as it pushes towards Joplin to see if the National Weather Service will issue a severe thunderstorm warning or not for the metro. But right now, this is confined to the southern and eastern half of Cherokee County and all of Ottawa County. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and some very small hail being reported with this storm.
Now, Ty, some of these storms when they were in the earlier evening had some tornadic activity down in northern Oklahoma, well to the west of our area. In fact, there was one that you and I were talking about that was happened at near Enid Air Force Base.
Man, that was a wicked storm. I don't know if anybody was watching the Oklahoma City TV station news, but they had a very intense, violent tornado that they were doing some damage estimates, maybe EF3, EF4 damage there in Enid. Luckily, I was hearing there were some injuries, but no fatalities as of a little bit ago there in Enid, which is of course, what is that? Kind of, sort of between Oklahoma City and Wichita. But this cluster of storms is continuing to make its way east, even towards the north and west of Tulsa. So it's been a volatile night across the area. We're kind of expecting these storms to come in a little bit later. Maybe closer to 2 or 3 initially, but they kind of evolved a little bit faster and are pushing through right now. So I bet they get to the Joplin Metro by closer to 12:30, maybe 12:15, 12:30. But right now we're luckily just seeing 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and some very small hail with these storms. So not much in the way of rotation. I do have an update from the National Weather Service in Springfield. They say that the storm headed for Newton County from Ottawa County is outflow dominant and appears to be weakening from both the Tulsa radar and the Springfield radar. It says gusty winds are going to be the primary threat there in Newton County. The better short-term severe potential remains in Cherokee County, but they're also keeping an eye on how this storm goes through Miami. So we'll get some observations there out of Miami. I just rolled through there, but it looks like the best short-term wind threats is in Cherokee County. So if you're in Newton County, a little bit of good news there, but it's still going to be loud here in the next 20 to 30 minutes. So just kind of be weather aware, making sure you are up to date with what's going on here as we get closer to midnight. Actually, another little update for you. They just issued a mesoscale discussion. The Storm Prediction Center likes to issue these within watches, just to kind of give people an update. Says a corridor damaging winds, hail, and a brief tornado still potential persists from north central and northeast Oklahoma, and eventually southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. Supercells have merged into this Boeing structure. It shows that the cold front's kind of still pushing through. So until that pushes through, we'll still see the severe weather threat, but it looks like there's still some strong low-level shear right above our heads here. So it's going to continue to feed this complex. That shear essentially is winds that change with height. So, of course, when the winds are changing with height, you get better rotation potential. But it looks like the winds at the lowest level above our heads are still pretty sheared. So these Boeing structures may continue to persist into extreme southwest Missouri and northwest Arkansas. It looks like damaging wind gusts and some little bit of hail are the main threats, but a brief tornado, they say, cannot be ruled out the next several hours given such strong shear and ample moisture and instability. So that was directly from the National Weather Service, issued just 2 minutes ago in their latest mesoscale discussion. So like I said, we're on top of it. We are keeping you up to date with the latest minute by minute here on News Talk KZRG. Steve, when you're looking at the radar here, you kind of see that Boeing segments of wind headed for the Wyandotte area. Also, it looks like I think Baxter, Riverton, and Galena are about to get in on the action too as well.
Yeah, it does. And then to the north in Cherokee County, the area that is storm warned right now appears to be getting ready to move into the Carl Junction and Galena area at this point. Again, that is a severe thunderstorm warning for Cherokee County, southern and eastern Cherokee County. That's in effect until 12:15. Also, a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for all of Ottawa County. That one's also in effect until 12:15. Both are indicating radar indication of 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and up to nickel-sized hail at this time. And it does look like it's moving to the east and will probably be moving into the Joplin area. I'm going to say within the next 20 minutes or so at the latest, maybe within the next 15 minutes.
I would agree there. And I'm kind of looking at, we're in this area where we're kind of between the Springfield and Tulsa radars evenly. So we don't get the clearest view, but we kind of get two different perspectives. And they're both showing heavy amounts of wind headed right for the city of Baxter Springs at this time. So it's definitely going to be gusty. It's gusty in Quapaw right now. Just got it. That area between, what is that road that you go from Quapaw to Baxter? Highway 69 there.
Yeah, Highway 69.
Yeah, the Highway 69 corridor, definitely not a fun place to be here momentarily. Even if you go up towards Pittsburgh, had some gusty winds. Pittsburgh not under a warning at this time, just some heavy amounts of rain, even some lightning there. But gusty winds headed for the city of Baxter, headed for the city of Wyandotte, headed for Peoria. And then, of course, we'll be trailing or going east towards Riverton, Lowell, and Galena here in the next few minutes. And then the west side of the Joplin Metro within 10 to 15 minutes or so. And then probably downtown Joplin within about 20 minutes or so. So again, the cold front, I'm looking at the chat from the National Weather Service in Tulsa. It says the cold front's not made much progress. So these are still kind of storms that do have chances to spin. If the cold front were to undercut these storms, that's when it would become more of a damaging wind and hail threat. But since the cold front's still pretty far out, it's still going to have potential to rotate. And like I said, the wind shear, the low levels is pumping right now. So there is still chances for little spin ups in this line.
Now, looking at the KZRG storm tracker radar at the moment, it looks like we've got some redevelopment of storms in the Montgomery County, Kansas area, as well as Chautauqua County. Those storms are also moving to the east at this time. Those are not severe warned at the moment, but they are moving into the area of the severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 4 in the morning.
Yeah, and in the National Weather Service here, the area of short-term concern remains Cherokee County. Pockets of damaging winds are expected, although they will continue to monitor for rotation caused by what they call funky interactions with boundaries as these clusters become more organized amongst themselves. So just that's straight from the National Weather Service, one of their meteorologists just a moment ago. The northern area of the concern, it's kind of the outflow was running ahead of it. So when you see, if you're looking at the radar, you kind of see this little line of showers that kind of, it's like a wind gust line that pushes ahead of the storms. That's the outflow. And when the outflow is outrunning the storms, that generally means there's very little chance for any rotation. If you're not seeing that, like we're not seeing to the south just yet, there's still chances for some sort of low level to mid level rotation. So Baxter Springs, you are getting hammered with some damaging winds right now. Riverton about to get in on that action. That Highway 166 400 corridor between Baxter and, let's say, downstream Casino. Damaging winds are on your doorstep. Also, of course, the extreme eastern, northeastern part of Ottawa County. So Seneca, western Newton County, Loma Linda, western side of Joplin, Carl Junction, going to be getting some of these damaging winds here shortly. But the main area looks to be between Baxter and Quapaw as it heads to the east. So Galena, Riverton, Loma Linda, west side of Joplin, Seneca, Wyandotte, right now, those areas are seeing the brunt of this wind gust.
You're listening to wall-to-wall coverage of a severe thunderstorm warning for all of Ottawa County and the south and southeastern parts of Cherokee County until 12:15 on News Talk KZRG Joplin.
And I think that the storm, I mean, I'm looking at the lightning signatures. So when we're looking for a storm that's intensifying, we look for a lot of lightning, and I'm just not seeing as much as I was earlier. But I guess it's not really a concern from the National Weather Service in Springfield. They're not saying much about it, but they are continuing to watch that storm in Cherokee County. It says that is their main concern. Actually, some good news here. They just issued a special weather statement for Eastern Cherokee, Barton, Newton, and Jasper. Is that correct? 12:57. So a special weather statement is essentially one step below a severe warning. Severe warning, I think it's got to be 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, or a certain amount of the hail's got to be a certain amount.
Correct. It has to be at least 60-mile-an-hour winds, and I think the hail has to be above nickel size in order to be severe.
So this could be a good thing. Maybe it's weakening a little bit. They may change this from a severe thunderstorm warning to a special weather statement. 50,
what the special weather statement says is strong thunderstorms are going to be impacting eastern Cherokee, Barton, Newton, and Jasper counties through 12:30 this morning. At 11:56, Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from 6 miles north of Liberal to 7 miles east of Minden Mines to near Galena to near Wyandotte. Movement was to the east at 45 miles per hour. Wind gust of 50 to 55 miles per hour in penny-sized hail. Radar indicated gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Minor hail damage to vegetation is also possible. Again, that's a special weather statement from the National Weather Service for eastern Cherokee, Barton, Newton, and Jasper counties through 12:30. That is just below a severe thunderstorm warning level. Now, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning until 12:15 for southern Cherokee County and all of Ottawa County. Ty, what are you seeing on the KZRG Storm Tracker radar right now?
On the Storm Tracker radar here at midnight, coming up on midnight here in the area, Baxter Springs is seeing the leading edge of the bow. Joplin likely seeing strong winds 50 to 60 miles an hour with the passage of this apex of the bow within roughly 15 to 20 minutes. So the farther west you are on the west side of Joplin, you'll be seeing it probably 10 minutes. If you're on the eastern side, maybe closer to Duquesne or Dunaweg, be seen in about 20, maybe 25 minutes. But it looks like 50 to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. And if you look, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper County. So that special weather statement talk that we had, I guess that is actually mute now because they've gone ahead.
Ty, hold on just a moment. We'll join the stations of Zimmer Marketing. Hold on.
From the News Talk KZRG Storm Center, it's severe weather coverage from the Zimmer Marketing Studios, sponsored by New Mac Electric.
This is Steve Scott in the KZRG Storm Center, along with Ty Albright. We have just now received a severe thunderstorm warning. Ty, what do we have?
Severe thunderstorm warning for the Joplin Metro, which includes southwestern Jasper County and northwestern Newton County. This thunderstorm just impacted Baxter Springs with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some very small hail, and is, of course, going to impact the southwest and western sides of the metro here in about, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes with how this storm is moving. But it is a little bowing segment that is kind of, the apex of the bow is going to have 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts. Right now, again, it's hitting Galena. Right now, it's hitting, getting close to downstream Casino. It just hit Riverton right there, and is going to be tracking across the Kansas, Missouri border, Oklahoma, Missouri border, I-44 near Peoria, right there by 5 Mile, getting some very large amounts of rain and some large amounts of small hail as well. But again,
Ty, we have a little more information. From the National Weather Service. The severe thunderstorm warning is for northwestern Newton County in southwestern Missouri, as well as southwestern Jasper County in southwestern Missouri. It is in effect until 12:45 this morning.
And the National Weather Service did just say they're going to do a large special weather statement along the leading edge of the whole southern segment. So Joplin, though, is in the severe warning. So 60 mile an hour wind gusts you can expect in the city of Joplin within the next 10 to 15 minutes, especially even faster if you're on the west side of the metro. Again, we've been talking about these storms for a while. We knew that we're in that 2% chance for the tornado. We saw tornadic storms to our west. Those storms have kind of, the environment's not as ripe as it was earlier for rotation, but we're still watching every single radar scan that we get to see if there's any sort of what we call a little kink in the line, a little inlet, a little something that shows that maybe something's trying to spin up. Not really seeing it right now, but still very gusty winds. Southeastern part of Cherokee County. We're talking Baxter, Riverton, Galena, the downstream Casino area, and that is headed for the southwest side of Joplin. So still, you want to take these 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts very seriously here as we just crossed into this Friday morning in the KZRG listening area.
You're listening to continuous wall-to-wall coverage of a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Newton County and southwestern Jasper County. That warning in effect until 12:45 on the stations of Zimmer Marketing, including Kicks 102.5, Big Dog 97.9, also 93.9 Classic Hits, and News Talk KZRG, as well as 1230 The Talker. I'm Steve Scott along with Ty Albright. Ty, what are we seeing now on the latest radar update?
Well, I'm just kind of doing a little radar loop to kind of look here, and the winds aren't as pronounced as they were as they went north of Commerce towards Baxter, but the storm's still trying to rotate. And if I was looking at any area of rotation, it'd be south of Crestline, north of Riverton. And I think if this storm is kind of moving east northeast ish, this area where it's trying to spin up the most would be headed right between Galena and Crestline and Galena and Carl Junction, kind of that general area. So we're talking the Belleville area, JJ Highway between the west side of Joplin and CJ. I think if there were to be any sort of little bit of rotation, that's where it would be. So I think that's where the damaging winds are going to be most pronounced. That segment between Crestline and Galena, and then headed towards Carl Junction, Airport Drive, Oronogo, maybe the west side of Webb City, the northwest side of Joplin. So I think that's the biggest area of concern. And I do want to look and see if our friends at the National Weather Service agree with that. But as of right now, based off of my radar readings, that is what I am seeing.
Yeah, I'm seeing from the KZRG Storm Tracker radar right now, the heaviest rain appears to be in the Galena area and just to the south, approaching the area of downstream Casino. Also, there's some heavy rain now that is just to the south of Columbus, affecting Highway 69. And also I-44, you're getting a lot of heavy rain all through all of Ottawa and Craig counties. And this is all moving to the east at 45 miles per hour.
Yep, and we just want to make sure people know it's severe thunderstorm warning. There's not a tornado possible tag on it, so the National Weather Service isn't confident in any rotation right now, so that is good news. But when we're looking at these storms, of course, anything can change moment by moment, second by second. So we just want to kind of give you the latest in our thoughts here. But damaging winds went through Baxter, south side of Galena right now as we speak, so that'll be moving into the southwest side of Joplin here momentarily. And like I said, the storm's trying to wrap up just a little bit as it heads into Galena, and then the really northwest side of Joplin as well. Just any if you're north and west of 7th and Main in Joplin especially, even if you're north and west of Loma Linda as well, I think these are kind of general areas that are primed to see the gustiest winds here in just a few moments, especially south of Carl Junction too. The latest radar scan is showing it's still just very broad wrapping motion. It's not as pronounced as it was, but it's just something still want to look at as it crosses Highway 69 towards Carl Junction, towards the west side of Joplin. So we'll monitor it. Of course, it's early morning and a lot of people probably sleeping. You knew we had a severe weather threat tonight if you were paying attention to the KZRG forecast the last few days. But I know these nighttime events are very hard for people to stay awake for. I know a lot of people have storm anxiety. That'll keep you awake for sure. But a lot of people just kind of write some of these events off when they get into the nighttime hours. But we just want to make sure you are weather aware about these severe thunderstorm warnings pushing into the west side of Joplin as we speak.
Severe thunderstorm warning for now the southeastern part of Cherokee County. That's still in effect until 12:15. All of Ottawa County is still in effect until 12:15, as well as Craig County. And a severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper and Newton County for the northern part of northwestern part of Newton County and southwestern part of Jasper County. That one's in effect until 12:45. Latest radars indicating the heavy rain is just now beginning to enter the western part of the Joplin area. If you're traveling along 66 which is also known as 7th Street, between Galena and Joplin, you are probably experiencing some very heavy rain and some wind gusts at this point. Carl Junction looks like you're going to be getting some of the rain within the next few moments as well.
And some good news, though. Baxter Springs firefighter tells us they had a max gust of maybe 25 miles an hour on their 2 different weather stations there, and it's died down just a bit. So that's some good news because on radar, it kind of looked a lot worse than that. So maybe storm's not as impressive as they were looking on, or they're on the radar as they were, real life. But still, west side of Joplin, that leading edge is headed for the west side of the metro right now as we speak. It's kind of crossed the state border from near the downstream area, Loma Linda area, Galena area, and now is pushing into the west side of Joplin. So Carl, Airport Drive, downtown Joplin, Webb City, Oronogo, Duquesne, Dunaweg, you guys are in for this gusty wind at this time here, probably 5-10 minutes or so. But again, it's just a severe thunderstorm warning right now. We are awaiting any further guidance from the National Weather Service in Springfield, but there's not much chatter in the National Weather Service chat.
We do have another special weather statement. The strong thunderstorm will be impacting northeastern Cherokee County, southeastern Crawford, southwestern Barton, and northwestern Jasper counties through 12:15. The Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm near Cherokee or 7 miles south of Girard, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. Wind gust of 50 to 55 miles per hour, nickel-size hail. Radar indicated, and those, again, that's in effect until 12:15 for this morning.
And I just pulled up, we've got our KZRG eye in the sky facing the northwest from our studios there at 32nd range line, and you can kind of see when the lightning lights up the sky, you can see the big clouds. I wouldn't call them a shelf cloud at all, but you can see the segment moving in. So if you want to check that out, just search Newstalk KZRG eye in the sky. You get a 24/7 look at that, and it's very pretty when the lightning lights up the sky there from our studios at 32nd and range line. So we just like to give you another opportunity to get a different view, a bird's eye view of this storm as these damaging wind gusts head into the west side of the metro.
You're listening to wall-to-wall coverage on the stations of Zimmer Marketing. I'm Steve Scott along with Ty Albright. Ty, I'm looking at the KZRG Storm Tracker radar. We've got the line of thunderstorms extending from the Joplin, Miami area to the north, and then we've got another continued line that goes back to the west, back through Craig, Nowata, and also into Washington counties, and back also to the northwest of Tulsa. Those are all moving to the east, so while the one line that's on the northern part of it may be clearing the area here within the next hour or so. Looks like they might get more heavy rain and thunderstorms. In fact, there's just severe thunderstorm warnings all the way back to almost to the Tulsa area at this time.
Yeah, they go way back. They even go back towards Stillwater, Hennessy, Oklahoma, the way north and west of Oklahoma City. So I think Tulsa's metro, and then that'll continue to push east into northwest Arkansas, maybe places like McDonald County overnight. So flash flooding could be a concern as we progress into the night. I feel like we've talked about some of the same areas over the past few storm systems that we've seen with flash flooding being a problem. Just the setup of all these storms seems like they're the same. There's never just any supercells that come and they go and the rain stops. We get this train of storms that just continues to dump heavy amounts of rain on some of the same areas once they bring through those wind gusts and hail threats as well. But if you're in, say, McDonald County it may be still a little bit before you actually see some of these storms, and you may be in line for several rounds of these thunderstorms. And then if you're in Northwest Arkansas as well, you haven't even gotten in on the action. It may still be an hour or two before you see anything. But the National Weather Service in Springfield continues to mention that we can't rule out some sort of brief spin up tornado. I'm just not really seeing anything that's too concerning on the latest radar scans. But the leading edge is moving right over the city of Joplin as we speak, at least downtown. That's that's Main Street. When I say downtown, I'm usually talking about 7th and Main. So that's the center of Joplin, at least to myself. But severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and some small hail still pushing through the city of Joplin, city of Carl Junction, that 171 corridor as you go to Airport Drive, and then, of course, go south into Joplin. And then kind of looking south, Neosho, you'll be seeing the leading edge probably in the next 15 to 20 minutes or so, but you do not have a severe thunderstorm warning at this time. Still, winds are just not quite at severe criteria. But, of course, we'll keep you up to date minute by minute, moment by moment, radar scan by radar scan here on the stations of Zimmer Marketing.
We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect until 12:45 p.m. That is for northwestern Newton County and southwestern Jasper County. Again, that's in effect until 12:45 this morning. The KZRG storm tracker radar is showing, as Ty was mentioning, the line is extending from around the downtown Joplin area back towards the Carl Junction area, then up to Asbury and to the Weir area in Kansas, even Pittsburgh getting some of the heavier rain right now. There's quite a bit of lightning just to the east of Pittsburgh at this time over in Barton County. These storms are all moving to the east, but the severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for southeastern Cherokee County and all of Ottawa County and Craig County until 12:15. For southwestern Jasper County and northwestern Newton County, that one's in effect until 12:45 this morning. Just getting an update now. The rain is appearing to be moving farther to the east in the Joplin area. Webb City, you should be getting some rain, heavy rain here in the next few minutes, as well as Airport Drive. Carl Junction, you should be getting the heavy rain right now. Also Carthage, probably within the next about 10 to 15 minutes.
And you've got it pretty much accurate there. I'm luckily just kind of looking at the last radar scans here. The storm that I was talking about trying to rotate, there's not as many winds going away from the radar as they are coming towards the radar. So generally a just still straight line wind gust threat, but it is right over the city of Joplin at this time. And you get quite a wicked look on the KZRG eye in the sky at this time because the station's at 32nd range line, just west of 32nd range line. About to see the brunt of this storm. So when that lightning lights up the sky, you can see this big gust of wind. I mean, you can see the clouds. You can't see the wind, obviously, but you can see it pushing right towards the KZRG eye in the sky right here at the stations of Zimmer Marketing. Again, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, some small hail with these storms are the main threats. So we just want to make sure people that are waking up, getting some of these thunder, getting some of the lightning lighting up their windows and things. But actually, I do just refresh our chat. They are adding a tornado possible tag to the Jasper-Newton County severe thunderstorm warning due to a bookend vortex that's trying to contract. So, unfortunately, it's in their eyes, it looks like it's starting to try to rotate a little bit more. So again, this is now a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag on it. To my eye on the latest radar scan, it just wasn't looking as impressive, but it's still, I guess, to the National Weather Service's meteorologists there in Springfield, they've gone ahead and added this tornado possible tag to the storm that is pushing right through the city of Joplin at this time.
Again, the severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper and Newton County is in effect until 12:45 this morning. The one for good news for Ottawa County and Craig County, and also for Cherokee County, has now been allowed to expire. Right now, it even looks like a little bit farther to the north of the Joplin, Pittsburgh, or the Joplin area, the storms are beginning to kind of dissipate. Is what I'm seeing on the KZRG storm tracker radar.
That is the good news, but that's why I was a little. We are seeing an uptick in lightning on the southwest side of Joplin, at least where the storms were. So that was just a few minutes ago. But the storm that is moving through Joplin's got at least a little bit of straight line wind gusts and what the National Weather Service calls a bookend vortex is trying to contract. So again, they've added a tornado possible tag to the severe thunderstorm warning. That includes the city of Joplin, Duquesne, Dunaway, Webb City, Airport Drive, Brooklyn Heights, Oronogo, and Carthage. It looks like the brunt of the storm is pushing right over you and the eastern side of Joplin right now. So I-44, I-49 interchange, the greatest threat for any type of rotation is about to push through there, but it's going right over Joplin right as we speak. So tornado possible tag, what does that mean? It means that these intense lines of thunderstorms can produce brief tornadoes, widespread significant wind damage, and although a tornado is not immediately likely, the National Weather Service is at least aware that it possibly could drop something really, really quick that maybe even goes in between radar scans, because the radar is currently scanning every 3 minutes or so right now. So they just want you to be aware of this severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag on it, as they quote, see a bookend vortex is trying to contract right over the city of Joplin at this time, moving east. So Webb City, Duquesne, Dunaway, about to get loud, about to get real loud here in the area. So just kind of make sure you don't have to necessarily take cover, but make sure you are somewhere that's at least got some substantial shelter just in case there was something that maybe briefly dropped on the ground, because we know just how dangerous little spread up tornadoes can be. I know that we had the one a few years ago there on the eastern side of town that damaged some parts of range line and had some damage in the Duquesne and Missouri southern areas. So that's kind of where this storm is right now. Boeing segment right over Duquesne, headed for Dunaway, 249 there, Webb City, I-44, I-49, that interchange as you head toward Carthage. Those are the areas that are in the path of this little bookend vortex.
Now, looking at the KZRG Storm Tracker radar, we do see that edge of rain now beginning to enter the eastern parts of the Joplin area, getting closer and closer to the Carthage area with the heavy rain and the winds. And it's all moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service in Springfield, Missouri. Now, again, there's a line of storms extending back to the west, going all the way back from the Joplin, Neosho area, down through Miami, down through Craig County into Nowata County, where it looks like there might be some hail in that one, as well as through just to the south of Bartlesville. And then it goes back almost to, back into northwest of Tulsa into the Stillwater area.
Yeah, so these areas south of the metro, along and south of I-44 there, as you get closer to northwest Arkansas, may have a flash flooding threat. And it's going to be a long night for northwest Arkansas, areas between Tulsa and Fayetteville and Rogers, just with how the storms are lining up, because those are still in an environment that is pretty untapped. It's still pretty ripe for severe weather. But right now we still got that little bookend, they're calling it a bookend vortex, is trying to contract. National Weather Service says, I don't want to be too wordy or too science-y with these names, but essentially gusty winds, Webb City, Dunaway, 249 there where it meets up with I-44 and I-49. That is the current area where the storm is at. If you're in Brooklyn Heights, if you're in Carthage, if you're in Fidelity and Diamonds, that's kind of the areas of concern where the gustiest of winds will be headed here in just a few moments.
But, you're listening to continuous coverage of Wall to Wall on the Zimmer marketing stations, including Kissin 92.5, KSYN Joplin, Kicks 102.5, Big Dog 97.9, Classic Hits 93.9, AM 1230 The Talker, and, of course, News Talk KZRG.com. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the northwestern part of Newton County and for the southwestern part of Jasper County. It is in effect until 12:45. That is why we are staying wall-to-wall in coverage.
And especially that when they added that tornado possible tag to the severe thunderstorm warning, that's always perking my ears up, because I had just got done talking about how it didn't look that impressive to me, but then that next radar scan, it really did kind of show just a little bit of I wouldn't say rotation, but kind of like inflow within this little QLCS, where it was trying to rotate a little bit, or at least bow out just enough to possibly put something brief down on the ground, but hadn't had any reports just yet. Had a wind gust of 32 miles an hour on the southwest side of Joplin from somebody's home weather station reported. So, that's not even close to severe limits, but we're still watching this area of gusty winds over Webb City, Dunaway, 249 as you head towards the Carterville area, Brooklyn Heights. You'll be getting into Carthage here in about 5 minutes or so. Again, gusty winds up to 60, maybe 65, and then that tornado possible tag on this storm, and also some small hail. But heavy rain pushing through the city of Joplin right now, as you can see on the KZRG Eye in the Sky at our studios there, just west of 30 seconds and ranged line. But if I'm looking at the radar, the main area of concern where the gustiest of winds would be right over Webb City, right over 249, right over Carterville, right over Dunaweg, Atlas, headed towards Brooklyn Heights and the southwest side of Carthage at this time. So that's where I've got my eyes on.
Now, we still have some under severe storms, the ones that are not to severe limits that are in Cherokee County. That's pretty much covering most of the western half of Cherokee County at the moment. Also, some heavy rain in the southern 2/3 of Ottawa County, extending down into the southern half of Craig County and back into Nowata County, and also towards the Tulsa area. And again, we're getting a radar update right now as we speak, and it looks like the rain is now beginning to get within about 5 miles of Carthage. So it's between Webb City and Carthage right now where the line of heavy rain is beginning to get to.
Good update from the National Weather Service. They say, quote, beginning to look like the lack of surface-based instability is preventing severe winds from fully being realized at the surface. They are still monitoring observations for evidence of severe winds, but keeping an eye out for indications of developing rotations, but their confidence is decreasing that severe winds are ongoing in the warning. So that is good news. Essentially, what the radar sees is somewhat different than what's on eye level, especially since the city of Joplin is about 60 to 70-ish miles away from the Springfield radar. So when we're that far away, the radar's not exactly seeing things as it is on the ground, and it looks like some of these winds are being measured a little bit above the ground than what's actually happening where you're standing. But we're still going to keep eyes out for possible rotation. That area would be right towards the Brooklyn Heights. Atlas, Scotland just went through Dunaweg moments ago. The brunt of the storm did, and is headed for the city of Carthage. So that's the main area of concern at this time, up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. But even the National Weather Service says that their confidence is decreasing that severe winds are ongoing in the warning because there's not much instability, at the surface. So kind of getting a little bit techie there, but essentially there's just not much as much storm fuel to keep these storms from being severe at this time, but they're going to remain vigilant and to keep updating us as well. And the severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue at least for the eastern half of Jasper County, but in extreme northern Newton County as well. I'd say there's probably some hail coming down near Shoal Creek Estates, headed for Tipton Ford, headed for I-49 just south of the 249 I-44 interchange as well. Looks like the latest radar scan shows just southeast of Saginaw, probably some hail coming down in that area. That would be near Old Highway 71 there, kind of in the Gateway Drive area. But again, we'll continue to watch it. Even if the winds at the surface aren't as severe as they seem on the radar, it looks like damaging winds could be possible in the city of Carthage here in just a few minutes. But it looks like there are some power outages being reported on the northwest side of town near Bell Center. That's coming directly from a representative of Liberty Utilities. So at least if your power's out in that area, maybe you got a weather radio or you got a emergency radio you're listening to us now on, you're not the only one without power. So definitely could be some power outages where these straight line winds moved through. So just be aware of that. The Liberty, of course, will have crews out trying to fix it as soon as possible.
Now, if you're traveling right now, the severe thunderstorm warning includes Interstate 44 between mile marker 0 and mile marker 23. So again, if you're traveling, expect that heavy rain, heavy winds, some possible small hail to affect your drive. Just be very, very careful and take it easy.
Yeah, it's never fun. Never fun to drive at night trying to go 60 or 70 miles an hour in a downpour. You don't want to hydroplane. You want to make sure that you're keeping a steady speed. And I'll say it again, please don't stop under the overpasses, because once visibility gets low, if people can't see your taillights or anything and everybody ends up blocking the road, that can be a huge problem. So if you actually want to pull over, find the nearest exits, just kind of wait the storm out that way. If you're worried about hail damage to your car or hydroplaning, just please don't stop underneath those overpasses, because that ends up being more dangerous than what it may seem to you at the time.
KZRG Storm Tracker Radar just did an update. It looks like the line is getting a little bit smaller or thinner from east to west, but it's affecting now getting close to the western parts of Carthage. It is affecting the Webb City area right now, 249 between I-44 and Webb City, and then 171, including from Carthage over to around Webb City. And then lighter rain as you're going back to the north on 171 towards the Asbury area.
Yeah, it is a little bit like at least the brunt of the storm, the apex of the Boeing segment has definitely straightened out a little bit. So that's good news. It's not as curved as it was when it's kind of bowing out. That was showing that the damaging straight line winds were a little bit stronger than what they currently are. But as you mentioned, it is kind of just a little skinny segment of heavy rain and heavy winds that'll be headed right into Carthage, and then areas like Fidelity as well, and of course Diamond too. But I'll be interested to see if the National Weather Service ends up extending this warning even further. But based on the latest radar scans, it's getting weaker. So that's good news for everybody here. If you're in Joplin, though, right now, if you're in Southeast Kansas, you can go ahead and close them eyeballs and get some sleep because the brunt of the storm has passed through you. I think the I-49 corridor is where the right along I-49 and then east is going to be the areas where the severe threat may continue, or at least the loud night will continue. But if you're really mostly west of I-49, if you give it a few minutes, the severe weather threat will be there and then be over. Then you can kind of rest assured as we progress into this night, because these storms are going to eventually weaken as they push towards the Springfield area. Now, if you're in McDonald County, you still got to keep an eye on those storms that are moving through Veneta and will move through Grove and then push into extreme southwestern McDonald County and northwestern Arkansas. But right now, those are not warns, but there's still potential for those because we've got a big Boeing segment headed for the city of Tulsa as well. So just something to watch if you're in those areas. But for Joplin, your severe weather threat is pretty much coming to an end at this time. I know we're still under that warning, but if you look at the radar, city of Joplin, at least downtown and west, is really through the brunt of the storm. So that is some good news, just to make sure you are weather aware tonight, that you can kind of rest easier.
Ty, one of the things that I've noticed from the National Weather Service, the storms are now moving to the east, but they've picked up in speed and they're moving. They're moving as fast as 55 miles per hour, which means they are a quick moving storm now as compared to earlier when they were moving between 20 and 30 miles per hour.
They are, and I think that's because the National Weather Service mentioned the low-level jet stream, essentially the winds that are kind of, they're not close to our heads in retrospect, but they are in the atmosphere. They're kind of above us. Those are pumping pretty fast, and that's going to push these storms off at an even quicker amount of speed. But luckily,
KZRG Storm Tracker Radar is showing it's now beginning to get the heavier rainfall from I-44 north to on I-49 to Carthage, up to the north to the Jasper area, getting close to the Lamar area for heavy rain at this point. If you're going farther to the north of that, it looks like the rain has pretty much gotten to lighter levels at this time going to the north.
Yeah, and so just Lamar, just a loud night, a lot of rain coming down, but it's just a good old thunderstorm. And you can see as it pushes off towards Stockton and northwest of Bolivar, you can see kind of an outflow boundary. So those storms are outflow dominant, which essentially means that there's not going to be much in the way of rotation because the storms are pushing out this. It looks like a little line of showers, a little line of wind gusts, but still just watching for any little kinks in the line closer to Carthage. But right now, that I-49 corridor between Fidelity and Carthage is the area that is possible to see maybe a 50, maybe a 60 mile an hour wind gust. But like I said earlier, the National Weather Service in Springfield said that they weren't even seeing that on the surface level. So the winds were kind of being measured a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, but still something. We got a severe thunderstorm warning, so we're going to keep you up to date here in the stations of Zimmer Marketing as long as it's warranted.
Now, one of the things that I've noticed is it appears that the severe thunderstorm warnings going back to the west in Oklahoma are beginning to die off. I think in the northeast and north central Oklahoma area, the only severe thunderstorm warning I'm seeing right now is down around Stillwater. There's a couple of special weather statements, but it looks like the storms are maybe beginning to lower in intensity.
They are, and that's good news. I mean, I know that would kind of coincide with how the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center's outlook for today was. They had that enhanced level closer to Wichita. And of course, in the Enid area, Enid, Oklahoma, that saw that big tornado that some were saying could be EF3, EF4 damage. But then as you got closer to Joplin, they added us in that slight risk earlier today, but we're kind of right on that edge. So they knew that once these storms got closer to us and closer to the I-49 corridor, they would kind of enter an environment that wasn't as favorable. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. And I do want to mention, I know we've still got the severe thunderstorm warning in effect for in parts of this area, but they have gone ahead and just put out a big special weather statement. So it looks like the storms are weakening. So gusts up to 50 miles per hour and half-inch hail, which are below severe limits. So it looks like once this storm gets out of the severe warned area in the Carthage portion of our area, they will allow the warning to expire and allow it to be replaced with a special weather statement. So that is some good news for us tonight. Just going to be gusty winds as you head into the Sarcoxie, La Russell, Avila, Wentworth, Pierce City, Monette, Purdy, Mount Vernon areas, Greenfield, and of course pushing towards Springfield. But right before I got off track there, we do have a severe threat on Saturday and on Sunday. We're kind of in that enhanced slight risk area again. It's more to our west, really between here and Wichita, between here and Tulsa, between here and Oklahoma City. But it's just something we want to continue to watch how it evolves over the next 48 hours or so and see where the severe weather threat sets up to be. And then Monday, it'll be to the east of the Joplin Metro. So we've got we're right in that peak of severe weather season, late April. And then, of course, as we get into May, these are the times that we need to be weather aware. And you can do that by downloading the Zimmer Storm Center app. You get updates, you get watches, you get warnings sent right to your phone for your exact location as soon as they're issued from the National Weather Service, and you get a live radar there as well. So we just want to make sure that you are weather aware over the next few days, because severe weather threat is not over after tonight. Tonight's maybe kind of waning, but again, we're going to have severe weather threats over the next few days. So just please plan ahead and make sure you keep that in the back of your mind.
Although at this time we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for our entire listening area. That is in effect until 4 o'clock this morning as of this time. Now, that special weather statement that they just issued, which will more than likely be replacing the warning when the warning expires, it does include most of the eastern part of Newton County, the eastern part of Jasper County. It includes a small sliver of Barton County. Then it includes Cedar, Lawrence, and part of Berry County in southwest Missouri.
And we're getting some observations directly from the National Weather Service. They say that the weather station at the Joplin Regional Airport 10 minutes ago had a 46-mile-an-hour wind gust. It looks like if that was the peak, then, of course, you got to be 60 miles an hour to be that, severe warning criteria. So we had a 46-mile-an-hour wind gust measured at the airport, and then had a report from Webb City. They had a 51-mile-per-hour wind gust here just a little bit ago. So those are the storms that just pushed through Carthage, that are pushing through Fidelity and Diamond at this time, and then going to be pushing east towards areas like Reeds, Sarcoxie, Ritchie, and then of course you go towards Mount Vernon, Pierce City, Monette, Greenfield, Lockwood, Golden City as well. So just expect things that could be up to 50, maybe 55 miles per hour, but it looks like luckily these storms are weakening just a bit, and the areas of rotation are not as much of a concern at this time. So good news all around here in the KZRG 24-hour storm center.
Ty, just to give you a heads up, we have a special weather statement that was issued in northeast Oklahoma. It's saying a strong thunderstorm will impact southwestern Craig, northern Rogers, northwestern Mays, and southeastern Nowata counties through 1 o'clock. At 12:26, Doppler radar indicated a strong thunderstorm 6 miles to the northwest of Foyle, it looks like, moving to the east at 35 miles per hour, wind gust up to 50 miles per hour, which is radar indicated, and that is just below the severe limits. That is, again, a special weather statement in effect until 1 o'clock this morning in northeast Oklahoma. That storm is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour.
And there's a lot of rain there in northeast Oklahoma. We're talking about, like you said, you got Chelsea, Bushy Head, I-44 near Adair, Veneta. Keep going east towards Langley, places like Bernice, Ketchum, Afton. You're going to be headed towards Grove and Grand Lake here. These are just heavy amounts of rain and just some good old-fashioned thunderstorms. So
that's high. They did really just do an update from the National Weather Service in Springfield. The severe thunderstorm warning, they moved the western edge now to between Joplin and Webb City and up to the northwest of Carthage. It still includes Carthage, though, at this time until 12:45 this morning. Also, it includes the north central part of Newton County as well as the south central part of Jasper County until 12:45 this morning.
Yeah, I see that. So Joplin, you're no longer in the severe threat. Webb City, you're no longer in the severe threat. Carl, Oronogo, Shoal Creek, Loma Linda, severe weather threat is over for you. I think even Carthage, you're still getting some heavy rain, but that wind gust front that moved through, that was it. That was a severe threat. It's kind of waning now. It looks like there's a decent amount of hail near Fidelity and Diamond, at least some very heavy rain for sure, just south of I-44 in the area kind of where Newton and Jasper counties meet up. That's really the brunt of the storm pushing east. I think they'll even let that severe thunderstorm warning expire here in just a few minutes. And then I think they'll leave it be just a special weather statement. I'm not seeing much concern from the National Weather Service chat in the Springfield or Tulsa areas. So I think once this warning expires, we should be good to go, at least for the area. Now, if you live closer to Springfield and you're listening, it still could be an hour or two before you see this storm, but I'm already getting notifications that they're canceling severe thunderstorm watches for portions of the area. They've already canceled Labette, Montgomery, and Neosho counties in southeast Kansas, and I'm going to go ahead and say that they're going to cancel Cherokee and Crawford and Bourbon as well here in just a bit because the severe weather threat is pushing east. So,
and one
really
thing that's good news, though, one thing that's good news is that it looks like the storm complex is beginning to continue to weaken in our area. It's still strong enough to have the severe thunderstorm warning that includes Carthage, but it is weakening all around us.
It is, and like you said, that is great news because it's after midnight. It's time to sleep, right? We got a busy few days ahead of us. I know that watching the weather is a full-time job for us here at Newswatch KZRG, keeping you up to date with model guidance, forecasts, just kind of radar updates and things like that. It takes a lot of effort, and some of these late nights require a lot from us here at Newswatch KZRG, but we really want to make sure that you are weather aware and staying up to date with the very latest because that is what really matters to us. And that is something that we take pride in here on the stations of Zimmer Marketing and Newstalk KZRG. But we will get you through the storm. When severe weather breaks out, we break in. That's just our motto here at Newstalk KZRG. So tonight could be the start of a couple of several days of coverage. So we just want to make sure that you're weather aware. And anytime there is severe weather that could pose a danger to you and your family, just know that you can always turn to Newstalk KZRG and the stations of Zimmer Marketing for the latest information, and we'll calmly talk you through the storm and make sure you are aware of where exactly it is and where exactly it's going. So this severe thunderstorm warning should expire here in a few minutes, but like I said, Saturday, Sunday, and even the first half of Monday, we've got chances for more severe weather. So we just want to make sure you keep that in the back of your mind and also download that Zimmer Storm Center app to be up to date with the very latest.
KZRG Storm Tracker Radar showing the line of thunderstorms extending from eastern part of Vernon County, just southeast of Nevada, down through the Lamar area, down through the Carthage area. This is the leading edge, down to Neosho, over to the Granby area. It is all moving to the east at approximately 55 miles per hour. Just got another update. It's already moved now for the most part through the western parts of Carthage. Looks like it's there beginning to weaken in the rainfall. The severe thunderstorm warning is still in effect until 12:45 this morning. Still seeing some lightning strikes, though. That severe thunderstorm warning includes the south central part of Jasper County and the north central part of Newton County. Again, it's in effect until 12:45. That's why we're doing wall-to-wall coverage on the Zimmer Marketing radio station group.
And we do have a new report. It looks like the storm came through at about 12:24, did push a report of a tree and a power line down West Zora and Peace Church to the north. So I think that's pretty close to the KZRG transmitter site there. It looks like there was a tree and a power line reported down in that area. So we don't want to discount what these storms did. It definitely had some power outages in the northwest side of Joplin, but at least it could have been much worse with some of these wind gusts that were reported in different parts of the Joplin metro. I know there were some localized wind gusts that, of course, were enough to knock down a tree and a power line there near West Zora and Peace Church, but it could have been a lot worse tonight, and we are thankful that these storms have weakened a little bit as they've been pushing into the area.
You're listening to wall-to-wall coverage of severe weather coverage on the stations of Zimmer Marketing, including Kissin 92.5, Kicks 102.5, Big Dog 97.9, Classic Hits 93.9, AM 1230 The Talker, and of course News Talk KZRG on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, News Talk KZRG.
They have issued a mesoscale precipitation discussion for our area. They say backbuilding and training thunderstorms producing 1.5 to 2.5 inch per hour rainfall rates will continue to pose significant urban flash flooding threats across northern and northeast Oklahoma early this morning. Even, maybe extremely far southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, McDonald, Berry, Newton, Lawrence, Jasper, these areas could still see flash flooding threats. So we say it a lot, turn around, don't drown. It's just easy to remember, but I know a lot of people think that their car is going to make it, especially at night when you really can't see just how much water is there in that roadway. It only takes a few inches of moving water to sweep your car away. So with these training thunderstorms, especially in extreme southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, and northwest Arkansas, these areas are going to see several inches of rain or could see several inches of rain. And we just want to make sure that you are aware of how dangerous flash flooding is at this time. So like I said, turn around, don't drown.
Are we hearing anything from the National Weather Service about the severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect till 12:45 as of this point?
I haven't heard anything, and they're not chatting about it, but it's the winds, that wind gust line has moved out of the box, so it's pushing through Sarcoxy, Avila, La Russell here just momentarily, and they're not even in the warning. So I really think that warning can be canceled. I don't have the power to do that, obviously. It's a National Weather Service thing, but the storm looks like it's trying to push an outflow boundary out, so that would mean it's outflow dominant, which means that the rotation risk is kind of at zero, so that is some good news. But Mount Vernon, Greenfield, areas closer to Springfield, you will still see some gusty winds head into your area tonight and heavy amounts of rain. But the severe thunderstorm warning, the severe weather in the warning is pretty much no longer warranted. So it looks like that'll expire here in about 2.5 minutes, and we'll be good to go here on the stations of Zimmer Marketing.
And one of the things I noticed right now, the heaviest rainfall appears to be to the east of Neosho, around Granby at this point. This is all moving to the east at 55 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service in Springfield. More storms are to the south, including south of Miami, Oklahoma now. They're beginning to get close to the Grove area. They are not in the severe limits, but they've got some heavy rain with a lot of lightning, and they are beginning to move over into the southwest Missouri area of McDonald and probably the southern part of Newton County.
Yep, and those are just good old-fashioned thunderstorms. Luckily, nothing's been rotating much. Of course, this kind of complex was producing tornado-warned storms earlier in the day, closer to sunset, back towards Enid. We know we had a big tornado there that we saw. That was kind of in that between Wichita and Oklahoma City there, near I-35. But luckily, the storms, as they've pushed into our area, have just kind of become what they call wind bags, just a big cluster that gives us straight line damaging wind gusts. But I do think, again, as this severe threat is waning here momentarily, I just want to make sure that people are aware. Severe weather threat Saturday and especially on Sunday. The model guidance has kind of been all over the place a little bit on Sunday. There might be a cap in place, but where storms get going on Sunday, we do have threats for all hazards Sunday evening into Sunday night. So it's just something we want you to be aware of. The National Weather Service will be issuing their new day 1, day 2, day 3 outlooks here in just a few hours. And of course, in the morning, we'll have a full rundown for you on the KZRG Morning Newswatch. Steve, I know you'll be a big part of that discussion as well, but it's just, we want to make sure it's going to be a weekend, and we want people to keep that in the back of their mind that they may need to tune into News Talk KZRG for the latest severe weather information, wall-to-wall coverage as well.
Good news, the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. It has just expired. So that's going to wrap up our severe weather coverage on the stations of Zimmer Marketing, KSYN, KQY, or Kicks 102.5, KIXQ, yes. It's a little bit on. I'm normally asleep at this hour of the morning. Also, Classic Hits 93.9, Big Dog 97.9, AM 1230, The Talker, and of course, News Talk KZRG. We're now going to return you to regular scheduled programming.
The This severe weather update from studios of News Talk KZRG and Zimmer Marketing is sponsored by New Mac Electric, proudly serving Southwest Missouri for over 80 years. New Mac Electric, your touch-tone energy partner. Zimmer Marketing and News Talk KZRG. Depend on it.
You're listening to News Talk KZRG. We're still talking with Ty Albright. And Ty, it looks like we still got the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 4 in the morning, but it looks like it's beginning to die down a little bit.
Yeah, I think I never want to step on the National Weather Service's toes or make predictions and things like that, but they should be canceling that for Jasper County, at least for Joplin. Areas along and west of I-49. Unless you're in McDonald County, I still see some strong storms in northeast Oklahoma headed for Grove. They're not warned right now, but Tulsa National Weather Service, they say they're watching for any uptick. So I think if you're in Newton County, Jasper, Cherokee, Bourbon, there's too many counties to name, but really along and west of I-49, except in McDonald County, I think you're pretty good, looking pretty good weather-wise. So I think you can kind of rest assured. Now, there's some big storms near Tulsa. Stillwater, farther north of Oklahoma City, but those will be tracking more towards northwest Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma. That's kind of south of our listening area.
Yeah,
so
they did just put in a special weather statement for the Tulsa area just moments ago.
Yep, and we're seeing a gusty winds headed for Grove and Jay, Oklahoma. Of course, Grand Lake going through Bernice right now, but no warning on that storm. So if you're in McDonald County, that's just something you want to keep an eye on. It's going to be some heavy rains, and it might be a loud night, but honestly, it's just good old-fashioned thunderstorms at this time.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up coverage here on News Talk KZRG, but if severe weather breaks out, we will break in on FM 102.9, 105.9, AM 1310, News Talk KZRG. We now return you to regular scheduled programming.
This severe weather update from studios of News Talk KZRG and Zimmer Marketing is sponsored by New Mac Electric, proudly serving Southwest Missouri for over 80 years. New Mac Electric, your touch-tone energy partner. Zimmer Marketing and News Talk KZRG. Depend on it.
Couldn't do it. He had to take a leave of absence from his job because his brain wasn't working very well anymore. And nobody could figure out why. All of the most expensive tests were normal. No one could figure out what the problem was. And he'd been to a couple of different places for that. So they come out to California.
How old was he, Tom?
48, 50, middle ages.
God, young.
Very young. But he couldn't think anymore. And nobody could figure out why. And his wife's good friend had been a patient of mine, and so they called. So they come out to California. I don't have an office, so I met him in a coffee shop. We sit down, we order our coffee. It took me 2 minutes. And I looked at him and I said, "You're from Chicago?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I raised a family."